Good morning and welcome to another capsule of CIO Desk. Today, I will talk about lessons of the art of work of Sun Tzu, applicable for information technology. Sun Tzu was a Chinese general that lived 4,000 years ago and is considered the greatest strategist for military studies all over the world. His lessons are taught not only in the West Point Military Academy of the United States, but also in many post-degrees in practically all over the world. It applies to economy, to sales, to leadership in general, but I would like to apply it to the information technology arena. I elected 4 lessons that I consider very important for IT in the role of CIO. I will name them and then I will explain each and every one of them. The first one, know yourself and know your enemy. Second, subdue your enemy without fighting. Third one, leave the generals unconstrained. And fourth, handle both superior and inferior forces. Let's go by one. Let's talk about the first one. Know yourself and know your enemy. Sun Tzu says, if you know your enemy and know yourself, in 100 battles you will never be in peril. But if you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, for every victory you win, you will lose another. And last, if you don't know yourself and you don't know your enemy, you will be in peril in every single battle. How that translates into the IT world? Well, we have a perfect tool that applies to the Sun Tzu recommendation, which is the SWOT square, the SWOT matrix, in which in the upper line we analyze the strengths and weaknesses. And those strengths and weaknesses have to do with the internal of the team, with the internal of ourselves. So in this arena is where we apply the Sun Tzu maxim, know ourselves. And in the lower level of the square, we have opportunities and threats. This deals with external factors that affect our performance. We have to be clear of the opportunities we find and the threats that are facing in case of the project, in case of the initiative we are about to tackle. In summary, how can we take advantage of this principle of Sun Tzu? As I said before, elaborate a SWOT analysis. It is also important apply the technology, the methodology of strategic planning. There will be another video that I will develop on strategic planning, but by now consider that, take into consideration the elaboration of strategic planning. It is useful in terms of when you are dealing service contracts. If you know perfectly yourself, your weakness, your strengths, and also you know the threats and opportunities that the provider is offering to you, you can have a better negotiation and win the war. In this case, sign up a very appropriate contract for your interests. It is also applicable when you are selecting high potential teams for doing implementations. You will select those participants with the best qualifications in terms of strengths, with lower qualifications in terms of weaknesses, and that apply perfectly to the requirements for the project you are thinking to implement. It also applies in development when you integrate a development team. And SWOT teams, particularly SWOT teams, if you have a risk, a problem, a production issue, a service delivery problem, you select those strong elements, not only internal but also externals, that can help you to reduce and eliminate the peril as soon as possible. It also applies in Scrum teams when you select or you propose the product owner or the Scrum Master to participate in particular projects. From the number of alternatives, please elect those that you make the analysis of internal and external forces. Let's go to the next advice from Sun Tzu. Subdue your enemy without fighting. Sun Tzu says, he will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. How does that apply? Well, it means to be empathic with the other party. It means to seek for a greater good and agree upon that greater good. When you face an issue and you face a point in which you are about to start fighting and discussing, think of this. Look for both greater good and agree upon. This will mean that you will gain support instead of gain the battle. There's nothing wrong with losing battles. You go for the war. You win the war. Don't win the battle. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you lose one battle. It is useful to think about this principle in conflict meetings, in committees, when you're doing appraisals, in presentations and demos. No problem. Keep this in your mind. Third principle. Leave the generals unconstrained. It is essential, Sun Tzu says, for the victory that the generals are unconstrained by their leaders. In other words, this means to provide empowerment to our direct reports. Their decisions are respected. There is a story that I want to tell you. Why Hitler lost the Second World War. At that time, President of the United States was Eisenhower, and he was famous because he thrust on the staff. He thrust in the military direct reports he had, and he applied this principle. When he was supporting these principles, he gave them empowerment and confidence. As opposed, Hitler was dictatorial, he was autocrat, and he wanted to take all the decisions. Even though the direct reports tell him what to do and what risk they were facing, etc., he did not hurt them. He preferred to apply his experiences and his knowledge, and that's the reason why they lose the war, the Second World War. So it is very important, act like Eisenhower and not as Hitler. Trust on your team leaders, allow them to take decisions, and when the decisions are taken, back them up. This is very useful when you are preparing the IT budget, the annual budget, when you are in a conflict or difficult support of IT, and also when you are preparing the annual capacity planning. Let the information emerge from them and you back them up. Once that the situation is rolling and the problem is evolving and you have assigned generals to resolve, you can participate, but only as coach or internal advisor. But do not get rid of the leadership of them. Adhere the leadership to them, support them, develop them, create trust, and make them grow. And last but not least, handle superior and inferior forces. Sun Tzu says, he will win who knows to handle both superior and inferior forces. What does it mean to us in IT? It does refer to leadership. Means that we have to have a good management of our staff. That is the inferior forces. Means to inform and align to the upper management guide. That is a management of the upper forces. In this way, we will be successfully managing our groups. It is useful for project setup. It is useful for one-on-one meetings with our superiors. And during outsourcing, when you are hiring outsources, be capable of handle the upper levels of the outsource as much as the lower levels or the inferior forces of your outsource. This will assure you to have a success management of the services that you are responsible for. With that being said, I conclude today the lessons of the art of war of Sun Tzu applicable to IT. I would appreciate if you can give a thumbs up in my video. Also, subscribe to my channel if you have not, recommend the video if you like it, and leave your comments in the comments box below this video, and I will contact you for sure. And for today, that is all. See you in the next video. Thank you very much for visiting my channel. Bye.